Hi there, Karen Flaherty from Living by Human Design. Hope you're doing well today. Today we're going to be talking about the gate 3, which is called ordering or difficulty at the beginning. Okay, so today, starting April 16th, early in the morning, and going until April 22nd, we've got the gate 3, and the Earth is in the gate 50. So we've got the 3 down here coming off the bottom of the sacral, which then forms a channel with the 3 in the 60. 60 is still in Pluto, and so we'll have the 3 all week. Combined with 60 to create the channel of mutation. So this is all about changes and evolving and growth and things like that. And then the 50 is off the side of the spleen right here. And this is the gate of values, or it's a very tribal energy. It's a very, very much kind of bringing together kind of energy. We usually, in the I Ching, it's called the cauldron. And so it's all about the values and how we approach them and keeping the values of society, of the culture, of the tribe, of however we're working with it. So all week, because we've got the 360 here and the 2343 here, we'll have these 4 centers defined. So it could make for a very interesting holiday weekend for everybody, with both the ajna and throat defined with up here, and then the sacral and the root defined. And some people don't have the 1/3 of the population doesn't have the root defined, 20% don't have the, probably more like 30% don't have the sacral defined. Half the world doesn't have the ajna defined, and about 30% don't have the throat defined at all. So it's still a good chunk of people that are going to have, they're going to feel different because all these centers are going to be defined. So just be aware of that. So we've got these 4 centers defined, and then by the time, 5 days from now, 5 or 6 days from now, when the 3 goes away, then the sacral and the root won't be defined anymore. But for the people who are not sacrally defined, who might be watching this, you're going to feel a little extra sacral energy over the next few days until the 22nd. So just watch for that, and then be willing or ready to have a little rest when that's over. I just thought I'd, since believe it or not, I've been doing this for a year now, I just thought I'd take a moment and revisit what it is we're actually looking at. So just for example, this is my chart, and I'm a 1-3 generator with sacral authority. And so I have these 4, usually have these 4 centers defined, the head and the ajna, and then the G and the sacral. When I put them together with the transits for this week, what happens is everything in the middle section gets defined. So I'll still have the head and the ajna defined, but add the throat, and then I'll still have the G and the sacral defined, but we add the root. And so for me, it's going to feel like perhaps I have a little more voice energy, and also that we're going to have, or that I'll be feel a little less pressure from where I usually feel it in the open root center from the other people who have the root defined. So it will, have the effect for me of not rushing around as much or quite as much, and not being pressured into doing things from other people, which I sometimes feel. The throat, it's a little harder to tell because I already have the ajna defined, and then the throat would be defined. So we'll see how that goes in terms of whether you hear me or not, or I should say whether you hear me better or not, because hopefully you're hearing me. And so what this, might look like for you could be quite different, but this is the kind of overlay, as we call it, when you take your regular chart and then overlay the transits for the week that you can do. And it's the kind of thing that you can do in this human design app.com that I have. It's an app that you can put on your phone, and then you can get the transit overlays just as I did. And then see what's actually occurring for you. Okay, so we got the sun in gate 3 and the earth in gate 50. Gate 3, as I said, is called difficulty at the beginning. We also call it ordering, because the idea is that if you have difficulty at the beginning, you're going to want to put things in order so that, and basically go from chaos to order. And so what they say is the fundamental challenge of initiation is to transcend confusion and establish order. as I just said. So the incarnation crosses this week are the cross of laws, innovation, and wishes. And then in the gate 50, as I mentioned, it's called the cauldron in the I Ching, or values. And so this is the value of historical continuity, whose traditional values serve and enrich the present and the future. And again, so this is holding on to the traditional values. And so it's about creating almost a vessel in which they can, reside, but also prosper and create harmony within the tribe, within the culture, so that people can benefit by the shared values of the community. In the Gene Keys, corruption is the shadow, equilibrium is the gift, and harmony is the CD. So as the Gene Key 3, Richard Rudd calls the shadow chaos, the gift is innovation, and the CD is innocence. And the repressive sides of the shadow are kind of anal retention and disordered actions. So here he says, life breathes change into its lungs and exhales innovation. And what he means here is that we're always changing, right? We're always going through some kind of change. So if we're having any difficulty at the beginning, as the gate 3 kind of warns us about, then we just need to check in with ourselves and see what's going on. This could be a good week if you are starting a project or starting something new, to check in and make sure that it's something you really do want to do. So whatever your decision-making authority is, you want to check in with it. Make sure that this is what you're up to and what really makes sense for you. The difficulty at the beginning is not to stop you, though. It's really just to have you kind of look both ways and make sure that what you're doing is what you want to do and how you want to do it, right? So whether it's a bump in the road or some kind of issue arises when you're getting started with things, or any kind of misstep, right, at the very beginning of something, whether it's a project or a new job or a new relationship, or you're making Easter dinner or Passover dinners. Just stop, take a look, see what's going on, and make sure that, or at least attempt to create order from the confusion or from the chaos or whatever is going on. He also says, no matter who or what we are, we're subject to constant change. It's like I think they say it about sharks. I like to say it about fish. If they stop, they die, right? If a shark stops, he dies. And so we're always going through some kind of change. If we're not moving, we're not evolving. If we're not going through change, we're not having the experiences in our lives that we're supposed to. We're here to learn. We're here to grow. We're here to have experiences. And the better they are, the better for everybody. He also says, in order to evolve, a human being must embrace chaos rather than try to protect against it. We don't do ourselves any favors if we're trying to protect against chaos in our lives. There is going to be chaos. There just is. There are lots of things moving in this world, but we're all part of the same soup. And so if we can embrace that soup and understand that we're all interconnected, and understand that quantum physics is, basically running the show, and that we're all in this together, the easier it'll be. So he also, this is actually referring to quantum physics. In the old view, we humans are the victims of our selfish genes. In the new view, there are no victims, only a huge interconnected and interdependent cosmos. And the new view being the quantum physics view. So we've got a number of people with birthdays this week, including, so this would be the right angle cross of laws, juxtaposition cross of mutation or innovation, and the left angle cross of wishes. And what this wishes means is wishing that there were positive changes. That's what that's all about. So we've got people all the way back to Charlie Chaplin and Victoria Beckman, who just had a wedding last week for her son, Queen Elizabeth II, who we'll be talking about in a minute. Jennifer Garner, Kate Hudson, Carmen Electra, Jessica Lange, Andy McDowell, lots of women, right? And Ryan O'Neill. So this cross of laws is one that is usually very ordered in their lives. They are usually people who really respect way that we act in our lives. And I think you can see from these people that they usually are quite in charge of what they're up to. So our in-depth chart this week is Queen Elizabeth II, who will be having a birthday on April 21st. She was born in 1926, so that will make her 96. And she was born in London, England. She's a projector, 5-1 profile, and it does have that left angle cross of wishes. So as I said, it's about wishing that things were better, wishing that things would improve, that kind of thing. Through the laws, through the ordering that comes with this chart. So she's the Queen of the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, and I believe a number of islands as well. So what we've got in her chart is a projector, open sacral, open will, open G, and open spleen. So she is taking in a lot of energy from her family, from her people, from her people in the kingdom. And she does have the head, ajna, and throat defined. And it's defined through this logical circuit, the 63-4. And then again, this is a part of the logical circuit also. It comes across the ajna, basically from the right side as we're looking at it over to the left side. And then this is the 1762, which is all about details and opinions. So she has a lot of the logical circuit in her chart. And so this is the way she thinks. She's a very logical thinker. She's probably also asking the question, why, whenever something comes on her desk. And 43, she's got the gated breakthroughs. And then over here, she needs some privacy each day with the gate 33, the gate 8. She is here to make a difference. She is here to make a creative contribution to the world. And with the gate 31, she does have, when she speaks, she does have influence. Now, interestingly, she was, as a projector, her authority is emotional, but she was invited into this, right? She was, basically, if you know the story, her father died suddenly when she was basically having her honeymoon, and they came back and she was queen. So she left as a princess and she came back as a queen, and it wasn't expected. Her father wasn't well, but it wasn't really expected. And so it was a big surprise to her, but she, at the age of 21, because she's now had her 75th, at the age of 21, just having had her 75th Jubilee anniversary as queen, she is now turning 96. So she has been in the role for quite a long time, and has, I have no opinion since she's the Queen of England, but I think as a queen during these very, very much changing times, she lived through World War II, everything, in the 60s and 70s, and all the changes that went on, both in England and the United States. And so had quite a life. So and only just buried her husband, who again had been with her for most of those 75 years in the past few months. So she is also emotional, and it's defined by a tribal circuit. So it's the 4130, or part of the tribal circuit. This channel is the 4130. It's all about creativity and intensity. And I don't think many people would hesitate to call her intense. She is an intense woman. She has the gate 36, which is really nice when you're in the position she's in, because she's great in a crisis. And she has proven herself again and again in crises that have shown up. She also has principles, 49, as you might expect, from someone in the royal family, but she definitely has principles. 39, she's a provocateur of a sort. She definitely can provoke people. I've heard, stories about that. With the 54, she's ambitious, and she really doesn't suffer any fools. She has held her head high, and, had her reign with very few scandals, nothing that I really know of. perhaps other people around her have had scandals, but she has basically been scandal free. The 53 is about starting things. The 3 is, of course, as we're talking about today, trouble at the beginning, and that is right up in her conscious sun. And so there are probably a number of things that she started that she might not have wished she was, continuing. But as a projector, if she was invited into them, she would pursue them and continue, as long as she felt that she was waiting out her authority for the big decisions. Now, of course, it wasn't really her decision whether to be queen or not, and she was actually invited into it, but I think it might have taken her a while to acclimate to that role. She does have the 26, which is the gate of integrity, and the 14, which is the gate of money. So I don't think they suffer any financial issues in that family. What else? So with the 5-1, as interesting as a royal, as a monarch, as a woman in this position, people were projecting onto her quite a bit, and she kept very private, as 5-1s will. She had probably a very close circle of tight-knit friends. In fact, I do recall that 1 or 2 of them have passed in the past year, and that's been troubling for her. And but she's literally known those people all her life, and so to have people like that in your life, that's the epitome for a 5-1. To have those few people very close to you, so Prince Philip, plus those 2 or 3 very, very good friends who actually worked with her in the palace, was a good thing for her, and was her support circle. So happy birthday, Queen Elizabeth. I'm not sure if she'll be attending the special ceremony they usually have for her birthday. It's usually held a little bit later, usually in May, but her health has not been great lately. So I wish her well and a happy birthday. And for you, I wish you happy Easter or happy Passover if you're celebrating, and a week that where you can watch things that might be starting up, things that are beginning for you, and see how they're going. Don't stop if you feel like it's still the right thing to do, just because there are bumps on the road. There are always going to be bumps in the road. There are always going to be changes to adapt to, and that's life. That's part of life. So enjoy the bumps. Just say, okay, gotcha, and then continue on. Because that's what life is all about. So have a great week, and I will see you on Thursday. Take care.